I can't imagine there's many people that think Dillon Gabriel's a better quarterback than Shedeur Sanders. I don't care where they were drafted. And if the Browns are the one team that thinks that, then I'm going to suspect it's not true. They don't know what
Listen,
they're
They've
doing.
been wrong every quarterback evaluation
Yeah,
30 years.
right.
I never root against anybody.
Yeah.
But I'd be surprised if Dillon Gabriel's ever a legitimate starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. I'd be surprised.
Cleveland is on fire right now, and not because of the weather. Kevin Stefanski has somehow managed to alienate fans, players, and even common sense itself by pushing Shedeur Sanders to the side, while propping up Dillon Gabriel. The same Shedeur who brought touchdowns and hope to a desperate city is being ignored, while Gabriel keeps getting chance after chance to disappoint. Fans aren't just noticing, they're angry, and if Stefanski doesn't fix this quarterback disaster soon, Cleveland will be chanting for his job louder than they ever cheer for his team.
Yeah, obviously that can never happen on that play. There's things, not all interceptions are created equal, but we can't do that as a football team. Yeah, plenty to clean up. There's some things that I thought he did well. I thought our offense as a whole on third down was very good early, which allowed us to stay on the field because I don't think we were great on first and second down, but plenty to clean up. Yeah, those two, us as coaches, we got to get them on the same page. That's
If you want a perfect example of a coach sabotaging his own roster, Kevin Stefanski's name should be the first one that pops into your mind. What's happening in Cleveland right now isn't just bad coaching, it's flat-out negligence. This situation with Shedeur Sanders and Dillon Gabriel is the kind of thing that gets fans storming the stadium gates, chanting in protest, flooding sports radio day and night. It's one thing to make a mistake at quarterback. It's another to willingly ignore your best player while hyping up a guy who couldn't win a game if the defense was asleep.
The Browns coaching staff must hate this dude, Shedeur Sanders. The guy had a pretty solid preseason debut.
No turnovers, he protected
The ball, and he made some pretty great passes for touchdowns. Shedeur did not look like a fifth-round QB in that game at all. And then this dude, Dillon Gabriel, proceeds
to throw 2 turnovers
in his preseason debut. But we already know they're going to continue to keep him as the last QB on the depth chart. But I have a theory. What if this is all part of the Browns' grand plan?
Shedeur Sanders proved last week why he's the future Cleveland has been waiting for. 2 touchdowns, leadership, poise, game-changing energy, the stuff that makes even casual fans stop and say, that's our guy. And how did Stefanski respond? Did he celebrate the one player who actually brought life to this offense? Did he crown him as the future of the franchise? Not even close. He handed out compliments to everybody except Shedeur like it was a participation trophy ceremony. It was pure gaslighting, acting like the one player fans actually believe in doesn't even exist.
Famous words of Bill Belichick. Don't be a distraction. No. Some things that you can control, some things that you can't control. Shedeur Sanders and his stardom and what comes with the aura of Shedeur, he can't control that. No. He can't control that. A lot of people are looking at him in a way where it's like, well, what is Shedeur going to do? Oh, he threw an interception today. Man, I done heard more about Shedeur than I heard about the starting quarterback.
Now look at Dillon Gabriel. He's the guy Stefanski is apparently married to, no matter how awful the results are. Gabriel has been mediocre at best, and every drive he leads looks like a slow-motion disaster. Yet Stefanski stands beside him grinning like a proud father. It's as if he thinks just repeating Gabriel as our guy over and over will magically transform him into a franchise quarterback. That's not coaching, that's delusion.
Well, I think you have to be so careful, Mary Kay, with these type of injuries, and we have to protect players from themselves. And sometimes guys want to play so bad, and you just have to make sure that they can protect themselves, make sure that they can go perform. So that's all it was, just getting as close to kickoff as we can to make a prudent decision for the young man.
And here's where it really gets ridiculous. Gabriel actually had the nerve to publicly disrespect Shedeur Sanders. Think about that. The most electrifying player this team has, the guy fans already want to build the franchise around, got insulted by someone who hasn't earned half of what Shedeur already has. If you're a Cleveland fan, that's impossible to swallow. Gabriel should be carrying Shedeur's helmet, not trash-talking him. And the worst part isn't even Gabriel's insult. It's the fact that Stefanski let it slide. No accountability, no response, just silence. As if disrespecting Shedeur is suddenly acceptable in Cleveland.
There's entertainers and there's competitors, and I totally understand that. And my job is to compete, and that's what I'm focused on doing.
Some people are trying to take that as a sort of shot in the shit. Can you just...
Yeah, first off, I'm all about our team. You know what I mean, and each other. I would never make that, and I've said it before. That's why it's interesting. But for me, I've explained it. Entertainers are you all, competitor. That's what I am and all my teammates, and we both have jobs to do. So that's it.
The fans see all of this, and they're not stupid. They know Shedeur is the future. They see his mobility, his energy, that spark that lights up the entire offense. He's not just a quarterback, he's hope, and Cleveland has been hopeless for a very long time. If Stefanski keeps trying to convince this city that Dillon Gabriel is the answer, he's going to break whatever loyalty the fan base has left. It starts with angry calls and hashtags, then it turns into signs outside stadium gates. Cleveland has seen bad coaches before, but what they won't stomach is a coach who openly sabotages the one quarterback who can actually save them.
A thought I had before the Cleveland Browns preseason game today is that the way that some white folks watched Shedeur Sanders last week is the way that some black folks were watching Dillon Gabriel today. And it's not Dillon Gabriel for Dillon Gabriel's sake. Most folks don't have a problem with Dillon Gabriel. It's what he represents, which is the disrespect of a black person for no other apparent reason than they are a confident black person, which makes the things that unfolded today very fascinating. Because Dillon started the game really well, and I was like, okay, he's balling a little bit. And of course, I mean, played college football for 42 years. He's the NCAA leader in touchdowns. Like, he should be able to ball a little bit.
What makes all this even worse is the blatant double standard. When Gabriel fails, Stefanski protects him like he's some precious treasure. He makes excuses, shields him from criticism, props him up like he's untouchable. But when Shedeur succeeds, suddenly Stefanski has nothing to say. He pretends the touchdowns never happened, praises everyone else except the one guy who made it happen. If you wanted to alienate your best player, this is exactly how you do it. And trust me, the locker room sees it. And once you lose that locker room, it's over.
Dillon Gabriel made his NFL debut. He'd had 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. Now, he did start the first quarter off looking mighty solid. Now, with all of that being said, later in the second quarter, he completely, went into the sunken place because he started missing reads, and it was just not a good look for the young quarterback. Now, I'm not one to bash up on Dillon. I want to see him prevail. But unfortunately, this was just not his game to do so. With all that being said, Kevin Stefanski had a lot of things to say about Dillon. Let's pull it up right now.
Difference there in that first half because I thought we were doing some really good things, but then we got that takeaway, had a takeaway negated by an offside. So we're just trying to hammer home how important it is to win that turnover margin in these football games. But I thought by and large, you guys competed like crazy, which they did this week as well. So I was.
The writing is on the wall. If Stefanski doesn't wake up and recognize that Shedeur Sanders is the only way forward, the backlash is going to be brutal. This isn't a minor coaching issue. This is the type of decision that gets a man fired. Stefanski took what should be a golden opportunity, a talented young quarterback who could transform the franchise, and turned it into a circus. Other coaches would kill to have a player like Shedeur. Stefanski looked at that and said, nah, let's go with the guy who keeps fumbling. That's not strategy. That's sabotage.
What if, no matter how good he plays in the preseason, they keep him at the end of the depth chart, but they do it so that they can light a fire under him? We've seen that he's the first one at practice and the last one out of practice. So him getting drafted in the 5th round already lit a fire under him. That's why he's been working so hard. And they continue to keep him at the end of the depth chart so that he could keep working hard. And he could be like, oh, they don't believe me? Bet, I'm gonna show him. What if they want to keep him hungry so that he could continue getting better and better without having the pressure of being the number 1 guy? And then, once they finally think he's ready, they just throw him out there in week 5 or 6, and he starts cooking. This could be part of the Browns' grand plan to get the most out of Shedeur. Or they just hate the guy.
And the worst part, Shedeur is handling all of this like a true professional. Even after being disrespected, ignored, and pushed aside, he hasn't thrown a tantrum. He hasn't called anyone out. He just shows up, performs when called upon, and stays focused. That level of maturity should be rewarded. Instead, Stefanski acts like it's nothing. Players like that are rare. Coaches are supposed to uplift them, not pretend they don't exist.
I'm going to characterize it. I'll tell you, I was really pleased with Wednesday and Thursday, really pleased with the guys today. Obviously, our brand of defense, Tony, as you know, you have to play really, really hard, and you got to compete like crazy, and I think that's what you see from our guys.
If anyone thinks the players aren't noticing this favoritism, they're kidding themselves. NFL locker rooms are brutally honest. Guys know who can actually play and who's just being protected by the coach. They know Shedeur gives them a chance to win, and they know Gabriel is keeping them chained to mediocrity. Nothing destroys team unity faster than watching your coach play favorites, and Stefanski is pouring gasoline on that fire every week. It's only a matter of time before that locker room erupts, and once that happens, the season is done.
Part of me wants to say, guys, I don't know if Kevin Stefanski is a Shedeur Sanders fan.
He doesn't feel like it.
He doesn't exactly, Jeff. And when they drafted Dillon Gabriel, we were doing a live draft show and we were reading the scouting reports, and I was like, he feels like a Kevin Stefanski type quarterback. And Shedeur feels like a Stefanski type quarterback to a degree, but I don't think Stefanski likes and I'm not calling Shedeur a prima donna. He doesn't like the guy that's brings all the attention's got all the swagger. We know him and Baker's relationship deteriorated. I think him and Watson had somewhat of a relationship at the start, and I feel like that deteriorated. He wasn't a fan of the Jameis Winston experience. It's that guy that's got that aura, that presence, that moxie. I don't know if Kevin Stefanski likes that kind of.
Dillon Gabriel talking down to Shedeur Sanders is beyond pathetic when you think about it. Imagine being given endless chances and still coming up short and still having the audacity to disrespect the guy who's actually delivering for the team. That's not confidence. That's desperation. And Stefanski not stepping in to check that nonsense, that says everything about how broken this situation is. Cleveland fans can see it. Everyone around the league can see it. The only person who seems blind is the head coach.
Is it just me or anybody else tired of Kevin Stefanski? Talking about him and saying a whole bunch of nothing. Kevin says a whole bunch of nothing. He said, I got to get the players first and talk to the team. Bro, for what? You're not going to talk to the team about the depth chart? You're not talking to the team about the QB battle? You're not doing that. What do you need to talk to the team about? Bro, you been knew the starting quarterback was going to be Joe Flacco. We all knew that. Stop playing games. Just say what it is. And say everybody else was competing to see who was going to be the backup and everything else and how everything else aligned. Y'all, personally, I've been tired of Stefanski. I'm talking Ben. He always think he's super smart and outsmart himself every time. Bro, act like he been in this position several times before a game. Just make it easier and lighter on yourself, bro. You could have been said Flacco was starting. We all knew that.
Cleveland is starting to realize this isn't just about bad play calling. This is about a coach who refuses to accept reality. Every week, Stefanski downplays Shedeur Sanders. The noise gets louder. The sports shows are already talking about it. Social media is exploding. Fire Stefanski chants are coming. And once that starts, there's no coming back. Cleveland has made up its mind about who their quarterback is. Stefanski just hasn't caught up yet.
Now, I will say that Dillon Gabriel went to Oregon, but he was not at Oregon when this happened. Bo Nix was still the quarterback then. But nevertheless, Dillon Gabriel walked it back.
All of you in this room are entertainers, and you have a job to do, and I respect it, right? And I'm a competitor, so I have a job to do as well. And I think, just understanding that, that's how I've lived by, and I've said that multiple times, so definitely not a new quote. I'm all about our team, you know what I mean, and each other. I would never make that, and I've said it before, that's why it's interesting, but for me, I've explained it, entertainers are you all, and better, that's what I am, and all my teammates, and we both have jobs to do.
And he seems confused as to why folks are frustrated. But people are frustrated because Dillon, this has nothing to do with you. And this is what I think a lot of white folks don't get, is that Shedeur isn't just a football player. He represents.
And here's the harsh truth. The longer Stefanski keeps pushing Gabriel, the more damage he's doing, not just to the season, but to the entire culture of the team. Fans won't forgive a coach who buries the best quarterback they've seen in years. Owners won't either. Eventually, they're going to be forced to choose between a stubborn coach or a franchise quarterback. And if they choose Stefanski over Shedeur Sanders, they'll be choosing losing over winning, period.
Even we negate a takeaway, line up offsides. Those are the avoidables. If we're ready to take that next step, we got to get even and plus in that turnover margin, fellas. But I love how this football team competes. I saw it on Wednesday. I saw it on Thursday. I saw it today, guys flying around. That's how we play around here. That's what it's got to look like. I appreciate how you guys compete. Thanks, Kev. Team on 3. One good team win, and there's so many lessons to learn in that football game. But the bottom line is, that's a bow. That's how you close that block. That Philly compete block. That's how you put a bow on that, because you go out there, you compete, they're keeping score. Let's go try to find a way to win. And we did that today. Now, we made it harder on ourselves than we needed to. right? -1 in that turnover margin.
At the end of the day, Shedeur Sanders is Cleveland's only real hope, and the entire city knows it. The only question now is whether Stefanski figures that out before he's run out of town, because if he keeps riding with Dillon Gabriel, he's coaching himself straight into unemployment. The rest of the league is already laughing at how Cleveland is mishandling this gift of a quarterback. Stefanski is driving the entire franchise off a cliff, and the only man who can save them, Shedeur Sanders, is stuck watching from the sideline. If Cleveland wants to be taken seriously again, they need to move on from Stefanski before he ruins everything.